Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Monday, everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So thank you first and foremost to everyone for the well wishes you sent for my mom's birthday, which was actually Friday. We went down there Saturday, San Diego, and had a great time. Hung out, ate lots of good food, all that good stuff. Anyway, so thank you all to the well wishes for that. Anyway, that's not why we're here. So why don't we talk about what happened today in our little slice of VW heaven here. So start out with Mr. Rafa here as usual. He worked on, for the first part of the day, worked on the beautiful signal orange custom slash hot rod slash Resto-mod, whatever you want to call it, Ghia here. And let's see, we'll start up here. So he went ahead and built the horns. So these are original horns. At some point he took them apart, tested them, did any repair on them that was needed. A lot of times they need there's basically some contact points in there. That's part of how they work. Usually if you just clean those and adjust them, they'll work. But anyway, they came all apart previously. And as you can see, the faces of them were zinc plated and the hardware was zinc plated and so on. And so yeah, he went ahead and put those back together today, tested them, heard him testing them earlier. So with Ghias, I mentioned this before, but if you're new around here, Ghias have two horns and each horn has a slightly different tone. And so that's why that Ghia has a distinct horn sound versus Beetle, which only of course has one horn and one tone. And because there's two horns, I've also mentioned this before, there's a relay to drive those horns. I guess one horn doesn't really need a relay. Beetles don't use a horn relay. And but when you're driving two of them, relay time. So anyway, yeah, he went ahead and finished restoring those, tested them, put them on. And then he worked a little bit on the wiring some more up in here. And I know that he put on the emergency flasher switch, which is this one right here, and started wiring it. Don't think he got real far on that, but that is what he worked on. And then I think again a little bit more wiring and stuff like that. He also went ahead and disassembled the complete steering column for this car, which we hadn't previously done. It had obviously been removed from the car previously, but now he went and pulled the whole steering column apart. In fact, so here's the pieces for that. And so those will go to powder coating probably tomorrow. So that's, again, all the steering column pieces for the Signal Orange 70 Ghia there. So that was, those are kind of the main things that he did on this one. And then he turned his attention to, the beautiful Java Green 67 Beetle here. Again, this car was originally pearl white. Customer stated that he had always wished it was green. So we were doing a complete restoration on it. We could make it any color he wanted. And thankfully he chose Java Green, because what a gorgeous color, guys. Anyway, so yeah, Rafa went ahead and chipped away at this one a little bit more today. As you can see, if you've got a keen eye, he installed the running boards left and right. I think one of the running boards on the body of the car, one of the running board bolts had broke when we disassembled the car. Not a big deal, so we drilled and tapped that out. Those went on otherwise pretty uneventfully, as you'd expect. And then he went ahead and assembled and installed the rear taillight housings. So on this car, we decided to put the Euro style lenses just because we thought it would look really nice on here. So the American ones, it's all red, and then the Euro ones, the tops are amber. So kind of a nice touch, I think. I think it actually looks good. Kind of brings a little pop to the back of the car, I think. So yeah, those got assembled and went on. And the running boards, and I think those were kind of the main things. The doors hopefully are going to go on this car tomorrow, so that'll be kind of a big step here. So we've got some things coming tomorrow, the door to body seals and the check rod seals and some other stuff like that. So yeah, by the time you guys see this video tomorrow, this car should be looking much more like a car because it'll have doors like cars normally do. All right, so let's see what else happened today. All right, so my day, I was kind of back and forth between this 57 Oval and the 64 Beetle. Let's talk about the Beetle first here. So one thing that I did was to go ahead and finish installing all of his brake lines up front here. So I had to shorten a passenger side front brake line here. So again, the car is normally came with a single circuit master cylinder. We upgraded to a dual circuit, which is what normally 67 and Beetle and up would use. But the hard brake line for the passenger side, the one that goes that way, is too long for, like, say, a 67 Beetle, because these little posts out here that that the brake lines go to, they sit a bit further inboard on an earlier car, and so pretty much chopped I don't know, like 10 centimeters off, basically like a 67 Beetle and up length brake line there. And of course we have a metric bubble flaring tool, so we can make or modify brake lines to our heart's content. Anyway, so essentially like modified that brake line, installed it, and then likewise you can see the driver's side one there making sort of a S-shaped curve, so went ahead and put that in, and then installed the master cylinder. So pretty much got the brakes, at least the front of the car, all buttoned up. I can't bleed the brakes yet because, of course, back of the car is still totally apart, but at least the master cylinder and the front brakes are all pretty much all connected and everything like that. Also went ahead and ran a new clutch cable. While I was here, his clutch cable looked like it had some kind of like weird kinks and stuff in it at the towards the end there, so I didn't really trust it. And I've got his pedal assembly out anyway, so just seemed like the right time to go ahead and put a new clutch cable in it. Yeah, some little things. Installed his grease caps on the front wheels, put on his speedometer cable. This particular one uses a cotter pin to hold it versus a little E-clip. So did those things on here and put on his front shocks. So yeah, just slowly getting the front of the car basically back together here. Later in the day, I did sort of turn my attention back to this car, so I'll come back to the red 57 after I finish this one. So I started putting his doors back together, and so I just went ahead and started by putting in the vent wing seals and the vent wings on both sides. So those are in. That's probably the biggest pain in the butt part of building these doors, especially the earlier doors, is getting this vent wing to body seal in. It's just kind of a pain, especially because the hinge here has to basically pass through the seal. So you've got to like put the seal from here to about here, press it in, and then leave it sort of dangling out, and then pass this hinge through it, and then attach the hinge up into the door frame here. And then with that attached, then you've got to press the rest of the seal here, and then press the rest of it up here. So it's a little bit of a pain. It's not too bad, but not very enjoyable thing to do, to be honest with you, but you know, it's got to be done. So probably tomorrow I'll go ahead and put his doors together the rest of the way. But anyway, so that is pretty much it for this one. So back to this guy. So I think I showed you guys before the steering box that he had, which again, I believe he said he got from SoCal Imports. It had a crap ton of play in it, guys. And so luckily he still had the original oval window steering box off this car, and he went ahead and brought it today. It was kind of gross and had some like ugly silver paint on it, so I cleaned it and put a coat of paint on it. Same thing with the pitman arm, and it's actually pretty nice, guys. So it's all bolted up now. It does have some free play, as they almost always do, but it's not much, guys. That compared to what that other one had, like literally like probably 3 times that much. And actually when I'm doing that, you can kind of see the pitman arm sort of reacting there if you look real close. See that? It's subtle. But yeah, much better. This original, 70-year-old steering box is better than that piece of junk new one that he bought. So that's just kind of a sad reality with Volkswagens, is getting a good quality steering box can be a bit of a challenge with these cars. But anyway, so yeah, I cleaned, painted, greased, and then installed his original steering box, original pitman arm. It was actually, as I mentioned, an early steering box, so I did have to use the early pitman arm. Totally incompatible as far as the pitman arm on an early box versus a late box. I wasn't sure if his original steering box was going to be an early one or not. That's why I wasn't sure if the pitman arm he had was going to work. But lo and behold, it is an actual oval window steering box, probably original to this car, who knows. But anyway, so yeah, had to use that pitman arm. So yeah, that went on. And then after that, I kind of turned my attention back to his brakes. And honestly, guys, he said that the brakes didn't really feel that good. I pushed on them and they feel pretty solid, but what I noticed was the brake pedal was traveling pretty far and then it would feel solid. And so what I found was that the push rod, which you can see right there, that's the rod that goes from the pedal to the master cylinder, which of course is on the other side of the firewall. The length of that rod has to be adjusted, and I don't know, I think some people may not know that. And so you want about a millimeter or 2 of movement, not of the pedal, but of the rod itself, before it engages the piston in the master cylinder. You don't want it touching it. You definitely don't want it like pushing on it all the time. You want a little bit of gap in there, but like 1 or 2 millimeters is enough. Anyway, this thing had, I don't know, guys, like 12, 15 millimeters. I don't even know. It was a lot. And so I think that was probably the entire problem with his brake system, was that the pedal was traveling really far before it was even engaging the master cylinder. And so I think that's why they had such a hard time bleeding it, because they weren't really getting the travel that they needed out of the pistons in the master cylinder, because the pedal was going so far before it was even pushing on them. So this pedal actually, if I can get my foot in here, I mean, this pedal is very solid, guys. And that distance right there to the firewall, that to me is fine. And it's got a little bit of I don't know, sort of give in it, which normally you would expect, and then it just stops, like brick wall stops right there, guys. And so just to be safe, I think probably tomorrow Rafa and I, or whoever I can grab, we'll go ahead and bleed his brakes. But I think his brakes are actually fine. I think it was all due to his brake push rod not being adjusted properly. So guys, if you're putting one of these cars together, check that. Again, a millimeter, maybe 2 millimeters. And again, that's the travel of the actual rod, not the brake pedal. Don't pay any attention to how far that is. You want to look at how far the rod goes in before it hits the, before you can feel that it contacts the piston inside there. So pro tip for you guys, very super important actually to have that adjusted right for proper brake functioning and to be able to bleed them properly, all that good stuff. So I'm pretty happy. I think that was probably the only problem with his brakes. But we'll go ahead, like I said, and bleed him tomorrow just to be thorough. And then I think we can check off the brakes on this car. So yeah, I think that's about it, guys, as far as what I did on this one today. Still waiting on some spacers for his back wheels. Hopefully we'll have those tomorrow. And then after we bleed the car, probably go ahead and put this thing back on its feet so I can move it around, and probably put the gas tank back in once we're happy with the brakes, and then it's going to be time to fire this puppy up. So stay tuned for that, maybe a little later this week. So guys, that is it for today. Thank you all very much for watching. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.